Good afternoon. Welcome to Source of Information. It is a pleasure to be here with you this afternoon and to bring you some great information. We have a lot of information for you today. We're not going to, well, maybe we should talk a little bit about other things before we dive right into the information. We're going to talk about the cost of living adjustment that was recently made last week. So we're going to get into that. But first and foremost, I want to make sure every one of you guys that's listening to me right now preparing to go and vote. In the event that you have not gotten your mail ballot in the mail yet, I got my mail ballot and I'm ready to put it in the mailbox today. So it's vitally important for you guys to get out there and vote. Vote the person that's going to make the difference for you in terms of the benefits that you're receiving, whether how their decision is going to impact your benefits. So that's very important. So we want to make sure that that's out of the way, and that you're doing the right thing. I'm not going to tell you how to vote. I could tell you how I'm going to vote. I've already filled out the ballot, but it's very important for you to know who's looking out for your own benefits. Okay, so that's very important. We will continue. There's 20 days left for until the election. So in 20 days, listen. If you have if you're able to help a friend or a neighbor get to the poll to vote, that would be your duty to do, to make sure that your neighbor, your friends get to vote this year, because it's very important. There's a lot of things that's happening, and some of it we won't get into today, but I think for our community, we need to show our strength. We need to let people know that we are here, and it is important for us to vote. Having said that, now let's talk about the benefits. What's going on in terms of Medicare and Social Security? You see that Social Security has give us, well, not us, give you guys that's receiving retirement benefits, that's receiving SSI, retirement benefits, SSI, survival benefits, spousal benefits, child care benefits. Every single person that's receiving a Social Security check will be receiving an increase of 2.5% starting January. It's an average of $50 per person. Now, usually when I throw numbers out like this, what happens is that I get calls, people asking me, well, how much am I going to be? Now, the average of $50, it's not for everybody. For example, if someone that's receiving $1,000 in Social Security, the 2.5% represent about $25 for you. So when they talk about an average of $50, because they already realize that your baby boomers, average baby boomers, are getting $2,000 from Social Security. So the average, if you're getting 2.5% off $2,000, that gives you about $50 of increase. Now, remember, every single time that they give you an increase, that increase is really not what it should be. It's not reflective on your pay, because what happened? The Part B premium also increased. So when the Part B premium increased, you're really not seeing the full amount. And we'll talk about, for those people whose AGI is over $200,000, the Part B premium increased even more. So starting in January, the Part B premium is going to be $185. $185. Now, when those costs increase, there's a lot of other things that increase at the same time. For example, what we're talking about, what the increase you're going to see is the income requirement for early retirement. So, for example, early retirement, the 2025, the earning test limit is $23,400 for people that retires from 62 up to 66. They've increased the amount, the high amount, when you reach the age of 66, where the limit is $62,160. Now, the $23,000, if you make more than $23,400, for every $2 you make more than that, then they're going to hold back $1. When you reach the 66, the limit is 60,160. Wow, a different thought just went to my mind as I'm putting on my glasses to look at the numbers. It's kind of small on the computer. But the $62,160, at that point is when you reach the age of 66. So you could make as much as $62,160. They won't hold any money from you. But anything above that, for every $3 you make above that, they're going to withhold $1. Now, we'll talk more about that throughout the year. But, if I may, I have to pat myself in the back a bit because, listen, I did tell you guys that there's going to be an increase. And the increase did happen. I did tell you guys that the increase is going to be 2.5%. It is 2.5%. So you guys got to give me some credit that I know what I'm doing. I know what I'm talking about by now. By the way, we are on live right now. So the number to call if you have any question regarding that, I would love to hear from you guys. Is 305-945-1580. 305-945-1580. I have a gentleman here right next to me that's helping me with the board, answering calls, so your call will be answered rapidly. So call now, 305-945-1580. If you have a question you want to ask me in Creole, I'll answer to you in Creole and translate for our listeners that's listening in English. So if you happen, this is your first time, you happen to fall on this station, or you happen to find this station while you're driving, well, welcome. This is a place where you could get all your information regarding Medicare, Medicaid, food stamp, low-income subsidy, and all that. So we're going to get more into that. So the big news is the cost of living adjustment, and we see that to the 2.5. And for those of you that don't know how they come about with the 2.5%, it's based on the rate of inflation. So the rate of inflation, right now, inflation is roughly about 2.4. But right before they came out with the cost of living adjustment, it was at 2.5. So they based it on 2.5% of inflation so that your purchasing power does not diminish. Remember a couple of years ago where they gave you, I believe it was, I don't remember the exact amount of the increase, but that it was about a 5 point something increase. And by the mid-year, because the inflation was going rapid, by mid-year inflation was at 9 point something, and you had already lost the full amount of the increase that they give you by mid-year. So they came back the following year and increased it at 8 point something, which was one of the largest increase that they did offer you. They did give you. So it's based on the inflation rate, and so that's how they come about with the cost of living adjustment. Now, we talk about the increase on your premium Part B premium. So that's still the same. It's going to be $185. Now, some of you will see the full increase. Those of you that's eligible for QMB or Medicare Saving Program, those of you, wow, there's a guest that I should have called today, Caesar. and now it's too late for me. Is it too late for me to call him? Let me find out. Um, Let me find out if it's too late for me to call him. Maybe we'll just push it for the following week, and I'll make better preparation because Cesar had some great news for you from us. I'm going to discuss some of the things that he talked about a couple of weeks ago. Oh, by the way, I hope if you one of you guys fared very well during the hurricane, and thank God we were spared. But it seemed like we haven't talked since then. So Cesar, I'm going to try to have Cesar back next week to discuss more about the change in Medicaid and certain benefits that's been there for those of you who's 65 plus, how we could that's been here for 5 years legally, resident alien for 5 years, how you could get Medicare Part A and Part B, whereas the state will pay that for you. So we'll get more into that. So to go back, so cost of living adjustment. So we talk about that. It's going to, for 2025, it's going to be $185 for the Part B premium. Now, some of you will see, because of the increase of the Part B premium, some of you will see a full increase, some of you may not. Those of you that are eligible for Medicaid or QMB, then you will see your full increase. Those of you that are not, then you will not see the increase. You see a portion of increase. And depending on your income, okay, your gross income, depending on your gross income, if it's over $200,000, then you won't see an increase. Actually, you may see a decrease in your Social Security benefits. So that's something that to be expected, and the impact, what you will see in your Social Security. Granted, it's limited, but it's an impact nevertheless. Okay. Again, the number to call is 305-945-1580, 305-945-1580. Call us now with your question regarding the cost of living adjustment increase that you just, those of you that are receiving a Social Security check will be getting starting January. 2.5%, an increase is an increase. So you will see a difference. And, the positive thing about it is that the people that's going to see the increase, the much needy person that's their Social Security income is barely making it for them. So we want to concentrate to those first of all. Now, if you getting an income and that is below, let's say for example, you're getting your Social Security check is $500, $600. There's something that we could do to increase that. So that's what I'm gonna talk about that next. Okay, once we start talking about SSI. SSI amount itself has increased. Now, for everyone that's receiving SSI, the limit for SSI for 2025 is $967. Okay, again, the limit for SSI starting 2025 is $967 for an individual. Couples is $1,450. Now, I've always said this. Whenever I get to that part, I don't feel that it's really. If each person had filed separately, they would get the full $967, give and take, depending on other factors that we'll get into later. But when you take the amount that you give into a couple, where it's not really, it should be about $1,800 to $1,900 to a couple, so that each person is receiving an adequate amount. because now when you, and that's when they're only receiving SSI. Now, when you take it in consideration, if they're receiving a Social Security check plus the SSI, what's going to happen is that they're not going to get an increase in the SSI. The SSI is going to decrease. So once your Social Security retirement benefits increase, then your SSI amount is going to decrease. So everyone that's listening to me right now that's receiving a Social Security check that's below the 967 that it is going to be in 2025, well, there's a way to increase your income, okay? And that way it's very simple. The way we do that is by, first of all, if you're a U.S. citizen, then right away we could start the process. If you're not a U.S. citizen, then we got to go through the process of help you become a U.S. citizen. The process is very simple, and we won't get into it right now, but we'll assist you in that process and help you become a U.S. citizen, and then you could then file for SSI, and they'll give you an increase. Once you approve, then you'll be receiving 2 checks on a monthly basis, one for SSI, one for Social Security retirement benefits. For those of you who have not worked here in the United States, and there's a method that we can use for you as well. And it's very simple. Again, it goes into you becoming a U.S. citizen. That's going to facilitate you to receive SSI, and with SSI, then you'll be able to get Medicare. And when you combine the two, then not only that you're getting an amount on a monthly basis, but you're also getting your medical need taken care of. 305-945-1580, 305-945-1580. Let me hear from you guys. Once you're behind the microphone, you don't hear anyone. It seems like I'm here all by myself. So let me hear if you have any question. I would like to hear your questions. We don't have much time left, so call me with your question. Let me feel that you are out there. Let me hear that. Let me hear that you're listening. A lot of people, when they encounter me, say, "Yes, we are listening," but we just didn't make any comments. Today, I would like to hear from you. So 305-945-1580, 305-945-1580. Excuse me. Now, we cover a lot within in a span of 30 minutes, less than 30 minutes actually. So we cover a lot. I want to make sure that, first of all, my New Yorker accent didn't rush through the information. So anything that you don't understand, I really, really, really would appreciate you call right now, 305-945-1580, 305-945-1580. And if you have a question, you want to ask the question in Creole, by no means, please do, and we'll be more happy to answer you. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll return in a few minutes. Again, my name is Gilbert Franklin. A short break it is, with my glasses on. Let's continue. Please call 305-945-1580, 305-945-1580. And don't forget, we are live right now on Facebook and YouTube. And you could just type WSRF 1580 AM and subscribe. You'll see my face, and on the bottom there's a black button that says subscribe. I want you to subscribe to this show, so every single week when we come on the air and bring in information for you, you'll have that information readily available for you. Whether it's, I think they're sending it to your email, and or it'll come that immediately to you. And you could, at your leisure, sit down, listen to the information. You know, there's a lot of people that's going into retirement right now. And when we're talking about baby boomers that's about to go and retires, for you baby boomers, those of you that was born in 1960, your full retirement age is 67. So we got the short end of the stick because in 1980, I think it was 1985 when Ronald Reagan was signing this into law, we were not aware of it. Most of us, well, myself included, we were just preoccupied with having fun and partying. So we weren't considering anything about retirement. Now is the time that, hey, it's time for us to retire. So we are getting at that point, and it was changed for us 67, and some of us that's born in 1959, it's 66 and 10 months. But those of us that's from 1960 and up, for full retirement age is 67. So welcome to a new reality. And basically what it's going to do is force us to stay healthy. It's going to force us to stay healthy and so that 67 we'll be able to when we get there, we'll be able to stay healthy. Now, the other thing we have to take into consideration is that early retirement from 62 is going to pay around 70%. So if you're getting 70% from your early retirement and you're not getting a pension, it's something to really think about, because the amount is going to be, I don't have any exact amount on me, and I will come back in the following show next week and come with more detail with you with the new graph that comes in, that's going to come up with all the numbers on there. Now, something that I highly suggest to everyone that's listening, if you go on the Social Security SSA.gov, there's somewhere on there that says My Account, and if you take the time to open an account, that will actually gives you, at any time you could go on the site if you need any information about yourself, if you need proof of Social Security income, you could get it there. But you could also, it breaks it down for you. If you take your benefit at age of 62, how much you will get, 63, 64, 65, 66. We went over the income limit for early retirement, which is 23,000. It's right there. For early retirement for you guys is 23,400 from the age of 62 until age 66. 66, the income limit is $62,160. So for 23,400 for early retirement at that stage, for every $2 you earn above the limit, they will withhold $1 from Social Security benefits. And for the 62,000, for you to once you reach the age of 66, for 62,160, for every $3 that you make above the limit, they will hold $1 for you. They would, yes, $1 for you. Now the taxable earning limit for Social Security in 2025 is $176,000. Okay. $176,000. For some reason, sorry, I apologize for this. With the technology, so many things are interconnected. So, so 2025 taxable earnings is $176,000. What does that mean? They're going to tax up to $176,000 earning. We discussed the cost of living is increased by 2.5. Now, let's talk about what's going on with Medicare. Okay, because there's some change in Medicare also as well. The change in Medicare is first of all, you know that the premium Part B is going up by $185. Also, you know that for Medicare, you 65. Once you reach 65 years old, you have to apply for Medicare. Let me take off the glasses because I'm concentrating more on the glasses than what I'm saying. 65 years old, you have to apply for Medicare. Now, as I've mentioned to you guys before, there was a time where all you could unilaterally said, okay, 65, you apply for Medicare. But we can't say that nowadays because there's a lot of different things that come into play. For example, if you take a head of a household that under his insurance, he has his wife under the insurance, he has his children under the insurance. So when he reaches 65, there's some decision that he has to make. He can't all of a sudden decided, he's going to forego the plan that he has at work. Now he has taken into consideration how his wife's going to get coverage, how his daughters or his son's going to get coverage. So those are the things that you have to take into consideration. But at the same token, remember that at the age of 65, if you don't apply for Medicare, then you will be penalized of 10% of your Social Security amount. And to give you guys an idea, 10% what is represent, if you're getting $1,500 from Social Security, well, 10% represent $150. Now, can you afford to get $150 taken from you month in and month out from your Social Security? Just the fact that you did not apply for Medicare at a timely manner. They give you 3 months ahead to do that. Now, we're not going to talk about the 3 months afterward because it actually, to me, that doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. But, make the time. We at CAMAX Medical Center of Plantation, we're there to help you in that, assist you in applying for benefits. You come in with all the necessary information, and we fill the application for you. Boom, you're out in 15 minutes. And we do that so that you don't have to go through the process of going to the Social Security office, sit there for hours, and for you to apply with something that could take 15 minutes when we do it for you. So you could always call me at 954-667-4885, 954-667-4885, and we'll assist you in that manner. Medicare itself, you have Part A, which covers the hospitalization, Part B, which covers doctor's visit and specialists and a lot of other things. The Part C. Now, I hope I don't get any calls regarding Part C because you have a lot of marketing companies going to call you and say, well, we want to make sure you have the Part C. Yes, we already have Part C. That's part of Medicare. You already have Part C. So don't let anybody fool you and ask and trying to change your plan. And speaking about that, do not allow anyone to change your plan over the phone. I had a gentleman yesterday that came to my office, and they call him and they end up changing his plan and offer him a PPO. I'm going to get into what's a PPO is. A lot of people hear the PPO and when the agent calls you, remember the agent they're working for a living. So they're going to find any angles to utilize so that they could earn a living. But you got to make sure that the plan that they're putting you on is to your benefit. We had a gentleman that came in the office yesterday, and they put him on a PPO. And at the same time, what he heard was the fact that they're going to give him back money to pay off the $174.70 he's paying right now. But they didn't give him the full fact, whereas if he's end up in a hospital, how much he's going to pay per day. So you have to ask those key questions. If I go to the hospital, how much is it going to cost me? When I go to the doctor, how much is it going to cost me? So all this information that's withheld, and if they're not providing with all the information, that you're not making a good decision. So in order for you to make a sound decision, they have to provide you with all the information. So your main responsibility, if somebody calls you on the phone, those are the questions that you have to ask. What is it going to cost me when I go to the hospital? How much is it going to cost me when I go to the hospital? Do I have a deductible? How much is it going to cost me when I go to the doctor? The PPO, there's a cost involved when you go to the doctor, when you go to a specialist. So all those are the things that you have to know, okay? Now, to go back to your Medicare, remember Medicare covers you, do not cover for hearing, dental, or optometrists. Those things, and that's why you need a Medicare Advantage plan to put together with it so that you are fully covered in terms of that. 305-945-1580, 305-945-1580. So I can't express that concern enough, because to make sure that you understand the importance of having the Medicare Advantage plan, because without the Medicare Advantage plan, what happens is that then when you go to a doctor, you're going to have a deductible. Actually, one of the things that they increased was the Part B deductible, which is now it's at $257. What does that mean for you, who only have no Medicare? One of the things before they used to do is that if you have an end-stage renal disease, that you couldn't join a Medicare Advantage plan. So that was changed in a couple of years ago, and that allowed that you that's on dialysis or have end-stage renal disease could join. Not only that you have Medicare, but now you could join in a Medicare Advantage plan, and so that you could enjoy all the benefits that everybody else with a Medicare card is enjoying. So it is important for you to have a Medicare Advantage plan. It comes with a lot of added benefits. Before I was coming down here, I was talking to Susan, and she was telling me how there are certain plans that increase their benefits. Some other plans have decreased their benefits. We don't know how they're doing it. Or we know that one of the ones that we are using at the center, they are increasing their benefits. So we have to see we have to see how it's going to impact the centers, the doctors. So whenever a decision is made whether to increase, somewhere along the line, benefits are affected by it. And in our office, we try to make sure that benefits does not get affected by the increase that's given. 305-945-1580, 305-945-1580. Maybe the phone line is not working. I'm not getting any calls. We'll find out in the next hour whether it's the phone, whether it's the host, or whether it's the information. I doubt it's neither the host or the information we're providing, because we are providing you with some information right now that you're going to, in long term, you're going to find extremely valuable. I'm getting a lot of calls from my cell phone, but not to the studio. So I'm not at the studio at home. I'm at the studio in Miami. So, in fact, one of the things that I want to do is probably down the line bring Dr. Wani Jamari online to discuss the site. So we got to make an appointment with him to see when he'll be able to do that for us. Speaking about that. So unable to take that call right now. Call me at 305-945-1580, 305-945-1580 with your question. I'll be more happy to take it. 305-945-1580, 305-945-1580. Let me hear from you. Okay? So we talk about Medicare. The added benefits, which are the OTC and the meal card, what you will find in some cases it will increase, in some plans it will decrease. And we extremely highly recommend that you utilize it, because if you don't utilize it, it'll disappear. So it's best to utilize it the best of your ability. Let's talk a little bit for the remainder of the time regarding SSI. SSI is very important for you to have, and those of you that want to apply for SSI, make sure that first of all you are a U.S. citizen. Like I said before, we could help you become a U.S. citizen. Yeah, we're going to take our first call. Hello, you on the air.
Hello?
Yes, you on the air.
Hi, how you doing?
Great, how you doing? Thank you for your call.
All right. I have a question. If someone has a disability,
okay,
and they apply for disability in Miami,
okay,
and they got denied, but let's say they go to Broward and they apply there and they got approval. What is the problem there? Why is it like that? Disability,
it is processed by the state.
But how is it processed by the state when it's two different counties, one denied and one approved?
That's very troubling to me, because you are being sent to the way the process works is once they receive your application, in order for them to verify your disability, so they send you to a doctor. So that doctor who examines you is going to determine whether your disability will prevent you from working.
Right. That's it. I know.
So I'm trying to figure out
the person already got an approval from the doctor that they're disabled.
Okay.
Yeah, so they take that approval letter or whatever the doctor gives them. They go to Social Security, and they apply for disability. That's the process.
Right.
So I'm asking you, why is it that a person goes to the office in Miami, gets denied, and then they go to the same type of office in Broward and gets approved? Something must be wrong there.
I would love to be able to answer that for you. I don't have in all honesty, I don't have an answer for you, and I'm not going to speculate what it could be. I think it may have to be. It may have to do with the population. Who knows? There's no way to really respond that in a very good way. But thank God that you had the wherewithal to try a different county. This person, first of all, is this person live in Dade County or Broward County?
They live in Dade.
Okay. So I can't use the excuse that the fact that they went out of the county, that's why they didn't get approved. But at least, well, let's look at the positive side of it. The information you give. So basically, if you go to Social Security and they didn't approve, you waste some time in trying it in another county. Maybe the other county, you might get approved in the other county. But that shouldn't be the case. It really shouldn't be the case. Whether you in Monroe County or Dade
I mean,
County.
it's the same. Listen, it's the same paperwork, same process,
Exactly.
same information that's being provided. I mean, if Broward County approved the person, then they should approve them too.
Exactly.
So I think there's something within the employee, or maybe the way they do the system there, or maybe they're picking and choosing who they want to approve and who they want to deny.
Without having sound, especially when you're on the radio, you have to be very careful. So without having soundproof, so it's hard for me to say, well, this is exactly what it is. And we could speculate a lot what it can be. But I'm glad you brought that up, because a lot of people that's listening, at the end of the day, we have to do all our due diligence, whether to get approved for particular benefits, especially disability, because disability take you anywhere between 6 to 8 months for them to approve you. And when you wait 6 to 8 months for them to approve you, and now they denied you, then you got to start all over again. So I'm glad you brought that information up, because those that are listening, if you go to if you live in Dade County and you got denied in Dade County, then let's take our chance in Broward County, and hopefully you'll get approved in Broward County.
Right. I mean, it's the same scenario too with housing too. I see that. I don't know. A lot of people saying because maybe the Cubans or they have more political views in Miami or more control of what goes on there. So maybe mostly Spanish people are the ones that are getting all the benefits, rather than people that are Black American or I don't know what the case might be, but it's sad. It is very sad what's going on.
It's sad, but it shouldn't be, because disability is based on your contribution. So it's they're not doing you a favor. This is your money that you contribute over the years, and the fact that you acquired 40 quarters, now you're eligible to receive those benefits. So there shouldn't be no discrimination in terms of that. That's something that's really, if it's happening the way you said, we need to contact our representative, our mayors, and an investigation must be done into that. There shouldn't be that, because see, you're expressing your concern because at least you had the wherewithal to go try it in Broward County, but there's a lot of people who don't know that. And so what happened if you're gonna stick around and going through difficult moment because they deny you, and now you have to get, and if you have the wherewithal to get a lawyer to help you along with it, now the lawyer is going to charge you $6,000 to get it approved. So you out of $6,000 from your benefits, although you don't feel it, you don't feel it directly, but it's coming out of your Social Security money.
Right.
So thanks for the call. Hopefully that's something. We don't hear too much of it, but if anybody that's listening, if you have a case like that, then trying to go to Broward County and apply in Broward County, and vice versa. But and if it's political, then we could resolve it in Broward County. All right. Thank you for the call.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
All right. Have a good day.
All right. You too.
305-945-1580. 305-945-1580. We living in a time right now. We don't know what's right, what's not. So it's hard for us to know exactly when we are being wrong. I know in our community, it seems to me that it's something that needs to be done. After the commercial break, I'll call you. It's something that needs to be done. And because of that, yes, everybody feel that it's easier for them to cause us wrong, and I'm talking about us in the Haitian community. They could easily get away with it. So it's, and that's why I'm saying to you guys, we have to elect our people to represent us, whether it's in Miami-Dade, whether it's in Broward County. That's something that if we have representative, then we could bring that problem to our representative, and they could investigate of what's going on. And this problem that this gentleman just present, it may be more rampant than we think. At least someone is coming up and talking about it, but it may be more popular. It's probably something that's being done to a lot of us that, and those of us that don't have the voice to talk and express ourselves, and it goes unnoticed. So we don't want that to go unnoticed in our community. We want to make sure that, listen, you pay tax just as well as I pay tax and the next person pay our taxes. In fact, when the government comes and asking for theirs, they don't have any prejudice. They just say, give me. So when it's time for you to receive your benefits, there shouldn't be any issue with it. 305-945-1580, 305-945-1580. I bet I'm going to get a call. Somebody tells me that I gave the number too fast. That's why they're not calling. So 305-945-1580. 305-945-1580. Call me now. The phone is buzzing on my cell phone, but so anybody that's calling me right now that's listening to my voice, I'm on the radio, so I will return the call afterward. So, yes, we have another call coming through. Hello, you on the air. Hello, you on the air.
Yes, sir. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Okay, I have a question for you. My wife already collect FSI, which is collect money from Social Security.
Yes.
Since she was 63. But right now she's going to be 65 in February. Do she have to apply for Medicare, or they're going to send it to her automatically?
They're going to send. First of all, she's not. I don't think she's getting SSI. She's probably getting SSA, Social Security Retirement Benefits.
That's correct. I'm sorry.
Okay. Now, because as soon as you said your wife, and I know you're working, so the income level, she would not be eligible. Yes, it's a very good question you asked. She will receive her Medicare card automatically. I think a few months before that, she will receive it automatically. When you receive it, the first thing you do, put a Medicare Advantage plan on it. Are you in Broward or Dade?
I did. I spoke to you already. You know, I'm waiting for the Medicare to go to you because I spoke to you already.
All right, I'm waiting for you. All right.
Okay.
All right. Thanks for the call.
Thank you.
Hello, you on the air.
Yes, sir. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
What's the difference between SSI and SSA?
SSI is a benefit that you don't have to work for it. You just have to be a U.S. citizen. You become eligible for it. It's based on income. SSA is a Social Security Retirement Benefits. So Social Security Retirement Benefits is SSA. So that's the difference. One you work for, and they take the money from your paycheck every time you get paid. You'll see something for Social Security and one for Medicare. So those two amount they take directly from your check. And SSI, there's no money that check paid from they take from you. So SSI normally is the people that's receiving it. They probably didn't make they work enough to acquire 40 quarters, or they didn't make enough to reach the for example in 2025 the limit for SSI is $967. So if you're in between that, you could get both retirement benefit and SSI at the same time. So during that month, you're going to receive two checks on a two different date to add up to the $967 a month. Well, I think my time is basically up. It's a pleasure to thank you, everyone that calls. Thank you very much. Listen, please, I cannot emphasize how much you need to go and vote. Perfect example just happened here. The question that the gentleman asked regarding the disability. So if we have representation, then we could go to our representative and solve those answers for us. So let's make sure that we share information with one another. Let's keep each other in mind. I love you guys. So talk to you soon. Bye-bye.